Hello.
Hi, everyone.
It's Casey.
And Danielle.
And we are here with Bitch Sesh. This is so fun. Danielle, how are you?
I'm good. I had a good week, except for my 2-year-old daughter fell running through the house into a table that we had just recently taken like the padding off of. But it was also happened to be her 2.5-year like doctor appointment. So I was like, what? She has a shiner. She has a black eye. And I was like, do I cancel the appointment so I don't look like guilty of something
Great idea.
terrible? But then I was like, no, I have to lean into it. And I have to go to the appointment so I can prove that that I'm a good mom and that it was an accident and my daughter, nothing happened, you know? But I had...
Did you hurt her?
I did not hurt her.
No.
She hurt herself.
You're a wonderful mother.
I am, but I was in that sort of like thou doth protest too much thing when I literally opened up the door to the pediatrician, was like, she fell. Like, I couldn't even like get through the door without like telling everybody what happened.
Sounds like you're not clear on...
I am clear.
No, I know.
crystal clear.
Always do that where you're like overcompensating.
Yes,
Something you did. Whenever I see the police, I start like shaking and sweating. And it's like, I'm not doing anything wrong. If anything, like I have been pulled over for going too slow. And it's embarrassing.
And that you have literally been
Literally, yes.
What did they say to you?
The guy was like, I don't know what you're doing, lady. He's like, you came off the off ramp. It was like off a highway. And then he's like, people are coming off really fast. That's incredibly dangerous. I was like, well, I'm crazy.
Did you get a ticket for that? Can you get a ticket for going
I got a
slow?
ticket. Yes, you can. You absolutely. He said it's just as dangerous as going fast.
Wow.
I know.
And you don't get the fun of going fast.
I've also been pulled over on a ski slope for going too slow.
a problem.
I have a problem.
Were you on a black diamond or were you on like a kiddie slope?
I don't even know. I think it's somewhere in the middle, like a blue. And I do, you know how like they teach you how to like just do turns? I was doing, when I tell you the widest turns, like I wasn't getting anywhere down the mountain. It was just like a turn and then just like like scraping my things to turn all the way, the whole width of the mountain and back. And then the like ski patrol pulled me over. He's like, lady, you're going too slow. That's another.
No, that's
I'm wild
so sad.
and crazy.
That's so sad.
So sad.
It's very sad. You're not like a wild and crazy girl. You're too slow for your own safety.
That's correct. Oh my gosh, so much today. The first thing I do want to quickly say is thank you to all of our listeners.
Wow.
I feel like you're great gals and guys.
I feel like we're part of a community now, if
I
you will.
know,
Like,
which I've never felt before.
either have I, and I have been involved in many things, but
I've been in a lot of group settings with you.
some of them therapy oriented.
I know.
And yet this has been more therapeutic than any of
And
those.
it's so heartwarming. The first thing I want to thank everyone for is not one person has tagged a housewife. And for that, I am so grateful because, again, Danielle and I are terrified that we're going to get in trouble and we don't want to hurt anyone's feelings.
And exactly, we're just saying these musings, and as we say every week, they change every week.
I love
They
that you call them
do.
musings. They're the most nasty comments.
Well, musing, insults, whatever you want to pick a word.
But no one's tagged. Not only that, I feel like you guys are investigative journalists, boots on the ground.
Yes.
We are getting such amazing photos. Someone sent us the most amazing photos of Erica Jaynes in the past.
Or just if someone visited Kyle by Eileen too, and said words about that, or restaurants.
We're just getting hot tips all over the place.
So thank you guys so much. We appreciate it.
And now here's a little update from last week. We had Jason McAuliffe on, who had a startling theory about Yolanda's health advocate, that she was misering Yolanda.
That sounds right.
Yeah. That she's basically keeping Yolanda sick. And then someone else pointed out that they think Yolanda might be in on it and, wants to be kept sick. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, a lot of theories, allegedly in front of all of these theories.
Yes. And so Jason then sent Danielle and I the next day when we were literally...
I was allergic.
Poisoned to V by Vicky.
I woke up with an eye. I went to sleep and woke up with an eye blown up and itching and sensitive to light. And the only thing that I had come in contact with was V by Vicky, which, as we found out, is made in PRC, which is not Puerto Rico as I had once thought. It is the People's Republic of China. So just so everybody is clear on where this is made.
And Kathy Wakili's coffee put me to sleep immediately. There was not a drop of caffeine. There was a jittery sugar-like effect, and then I just dropped off a cliff.
It is a dessert coffee. So there's that.
Yeah.
So
well, Jason sent us an update about the health advocate. She has a website. Her name is... Is it okay to say this?
Yeah. Well, she is.
She has a website called April Daisy White, in which she has extensive information about herself. I'll just read a little bit from her bio.
Not what you'd expect.
Not at all. There seem to be nude photos right off the bat of just like her nude posing, with her back to us, like looking seductively over her shoulder, then just strangely seascape. And then this is what she has to say. And I presume she wrote this.
Oh, definitely.
April Daisy White has been a teacher, a writer, a coach, an actress, a Pilates teacher, a translator, and a high school. And okay, I got to take that back. Shit. Can you mark that? Okay. Here is April Daisy White's resume that she's clearly written herself.
Arthur's statement.
April Daisy White has been a teacher, a writer, a coach, an actress, a Pilates teacher, a translator, and a high-class call girl. What? What was the last one?
Just leave that. That's the headline. Bury the headline.
Save the best for last. And then she glides past that and says now she's an all-around motivator for people and artists. In 2004, she wrote and performed Sugar, a one-woman show about her life. Sugar explores her life as a young model born in France to American Paris, leading us through her journey as an international call girl. This is the woman that's poisoning Yolanda.
She is a health advocate. How does one go from call girl to health advocate? What is that journey? I mean, maybe if we saw Sugar, we'd know.
I'd love to see Sugar.
I would love
if that show is remounted. Let's all go.
I would like it to star like Lolita Davidovich.
I'd like it to star April Daisy White.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Now, also, Daisy has recently been published in the anthology Hoes, Hookers, Call Girls, and Rent Boys, available on Amazon.com. And in the fall 2009 issue of the literary art webzine.
That's a lot.
Which, not done, Danielle, I'm not done. Sorry. Which you can find at theworld.com.
What? How is spelled?
nthword.com.
Exactly as I thought it was spelled.
Word.com. So April Daisy White is an onion.
She really is.
Why isn't she a housewife?
Why isn't she a story that I'm reading right now? I mean, I want to get into that. That's a story.
And she also has, at the top of her website, Danielle, you can click on the following tabs. Welcome, bio, life coaching, writing class, acting class and coaching, testimonials and reviews, Sugar is its own thing, events, retreats, and intensives, and then simply thoughts.
I would like to get into her thoughts. I will be reading that website later. But thank you, Jason McAuliffe, for sending us that important.
Speaking of important.
Well, guys, I know I've been saving this and talking about this for a while, but Cow by Eileen 2, the news that I've been not sharing with everybody. Aileen 2, sorry, guys. I know I mix it up every week and everybody always gets mad at me, but this is the news. Basically, there is an Eileen, or maybe was an Aileen. There was an Aileen. It existed. There was a store in, I think, Weston, Florida.
Okay, well, let me stop you. There's a person named Aileen. And we don't know if she's living or passed.
No, and hopefully we can get to the bottom of that through my sister's friend.
Hopefully she's still alive so she can come on our podcast.
We would love it, or at least for her to call in or send an email and let us know.
And we are working on that.
Yes. But Aileen was a person that owned a store.
She has been alive at one time.
Weston, Florida, which is like southwest Florida, not by a body of water, I believe, but that doesn't matter. So she had a store called Alene. Now the women that now own Alene, it's so a tangled web. But then these two women loved the store Alene, and they were like, we got to bring this to Boca Raton, Florida. So they took Alene and decided to make it a franchise, and it was called Aileen 2, I guess with the permission of Aileen. So they opened Aileen 2. Is
with
everyone
it
following?
Kind of a double entendre, no? You're trying to be cute a little bit, like Aileen 2, like also.
But it also carries the prestige, I assume, of
the good name of
Aileen.
Its predecessor.
Exactly. Now, as I hear it, Aileen in Weston closed.
Folded.
Maybe it couldn't keep...
Dead, not by the water. Dead out of the water.
So now there's just Aileen 2.
So let me stop you there. As I did point out, so it seems that in this case, the copy is better than the original.
Yes.
So now Aileen, the human, living or dead, and the store dead.
Yes. It's almost like it didn't exist, and Aileen 2 blew up, so that sort of became the name. Aileen 2 was just... Like no one even remembered, I think, Aileen, but Aileen 2 sort of became a Boca Raton, like just a place that you went.
And then in swept Miss Richards.
And then in swept, to make things more confusing, Kyle Richards swept in. And on her beautiful shoulder showing.
Her bronzed shoulders.
Yes. And said, I love Eileen too. Can I bring it to the West Coast?
I love Eileen too.
Can I bring it to the West Coast? And then to make things more confusing, it's Kyle by Eileen too.
Which is our next guest who we're about to intro. I think this is a great intro for her, pointed out. It's not often that you have a gal naming a store after herself. Like you wouldn't say Kyle by Best Buy.
Yes. Exactly. And you know what? I feel like Roman numerals would have helped. Like if it was just Eileen Roman numeral 1, and then we could have Roman numeral 2 for Kyle by Eileen Roman numeral 2. I would feel
You
better.
would feel more comfortable with that?
And I do now miss the original Eileen store.
But do we even know what it was?
No, but I can only I've never heard of a store getting co-opted by people, and they want a 2 next to it, then they want a Kyle next to it. It's like, what was this original Eileen?
And then to think that her store is fallen, it's very
her name has
Shakespearean.
lived on. Her name has lived on. It's King Lear.
It's so true.
It's been and Eileen, whether she be dead or alive, lives on through these stores, which is. But yeah, so it's a mystery that we're still unwrapping. But
Yeah.
our guest today.
That's about as good as you're going to get. And at this point, I like to introduce our guest.
Yes.
Her name is Deanna Chang.
Hi there.
Hi. She's been a dear friend of mine for years and years and years. And we're so excited to have her. She is a studied historian of the franchises.
You guys, this is so exciting.
And she has an amazing podcast. I can't speak highly enough about it. It is called OMFG. And it's really for, I mean, I don't know how else to put it.
Go ahead.
It's for the people of a certain age, our age, kind of to understand what the kids are doing.
You said it.
Yeah.
So plainly.
And you have the young folk on.
25 and under.
25 and under.
So I qualify. Thank you.
Well, I was going to ask later.
Thank you.
Yes, you're
Thank
welcome.
And you just kind of figure out what's going on down
Get
there.
to the bottom of things, like I don't know if you guys maybe have heard of like a thirst trap. What? And I know we're going to stay focused on
Yeah, no, please.
But what a thirst trap is like right now, if I were to pull my top down and take a pic, just like down a little bit, show some cleavage.
As you're one to do.
Yeah, stick it up on the World Wide Web and Instagram. I would be setting up a thirst trap and seeing who's thirsty for me with their comments and their like water emoji squirts and their purple,
The eggplant.
I'd be like, oh, that's who's thirsty for me. It's a trap.
We have to take a break.
And we are back.
I'll tell you what I'm thirsty for. Potomac has got me trapped.
Guys, we all watched Potomac this week, and
We're going to start there.
yes, I'm excited. Yeah, Potomac really was a breath of fresh air. It felt like new life. I loved these women.
I did too. I love Giselle.
Giselle.
I feel like Giselle is where Erica Jaynes started and then she fucking kicked it up a notch.
Yeah, Giselle is Erica Jaynes sort of meets Dina Manzo.
Ooh.
If
I
you
did
will.
not see. I won't.
I like Dina Manzo, but a woman
I
who's not
don't.
afraid to attach some bangs on halfway through the episode and
Not afraid.
and not mention them once.
No, and I knew on a level a hair change was coming since she arrived with her gay hairdresser.
Right.
But then it was so shocking.
Well, it also happened in a bathroom of her friend's house while guests were arriving.
And while crabs were like skittering around.
It was a shocking.
I loved her though. She does not give a fuck, and her story is intense. Casey sent me the story of her marriage. She was married to a very famous like preacher, right?
And she
Preacher
said,
man.
cheater, cheater, pumpkin eater. I was laughing so hard.
Oh, I loved it. With all seriousness, she was like, cheater, cheater, pumpkin ear. Like a child's rhyme, but said with all the gravitas of an adult. So that was
Is she giving you Vanessa Williams vibes?
100%.
Oh, yes. Okay.
And I love when she was sitting with her kids. I think this was in like an upcoming. And then she's like, what did we learn today? And her daughter's like, always be nice to our enemies. And she's like, yes. I was like, this is fierce and scary. And I love her.
Me too.
But she's also really, I feel like really warm and fun.
And good with her kids. I liked watching her with her kids.
Oh, you mean her children? I had written down their names. Give me a second. Oh, Grace, Angel, and Adore.
Yeah, Adore.
And she seems to, through the article you sent me, have come to peace with her divorce and her husband and his cheating ways. And that she's like, I could have gone on in this relationship and pretended like nothing had happened, but that's not me. That's not who I am.
And it's not.
No.
It's not.
No, and I want to see her find love. I mean, just Potomac as a place, I'm still wrapping my head around. Now, I'm from Alexandria, Virginia, which is out, we're all outside the Beltway. It's just, I'm still trying to wrap my head around it.
They talk about Potomac and they use it as a verb and an adjective
and a way of life.
Yeah,
yes.
in a way that we're all supposed to know, like, oh, this is Potomac. And I'm like, what is Potomac?
I thought it was upstate New York, hand to God. Like, hand to God. I thought it was like with the babbling brook, upstate New York, camping ground.
And having grown up, I dated a guy from Potomac. Like, guys, I've been to Potomac a ton. I guess I didn't know the lineages. I didn't know the pedigree. I didn't know I didn't know
there's
what I was dealing
rules.
with.
It felt like there's a key to the city, and unless you get the key in the guidebook and use the word etiquette 15 times in a minute, you aren't Potomac.
Well, the woman Karen Unger,
who's like an Eartha Kitt character if I've ever seen one.
Diana Ross. I like when Giselle's like Diana Ross and then her, and then she said someone else too. She's like Lena Horne and then Karen.
I couldn't wrap my head around that face. When I tell you, I looked at that face every which way and I couldn't get a handle on it.
Neither could I. What couldn't you understand?
The nose, the shapes, the eyebrows, the mole. It didn't.
The breasts.
Oh, I couldn't. I wanted to like dip my head in those breasts. I'm not gonna lie.
I wanted to motorboat. They're just.
I wanted to fall asleep in them as well. Like I felt like I could have a lovely rest in those breasts.
And she was shifting like her personality. At one second she's like a stern mistress, and then she's like a fun, flirty young gal, and then she's like my elderly grandma. Yeah, she was all things.
And she again is a woman that's 40 or 70, and I can't get
most likely 70.
No, but
she's 70.
But those look like real breasts, and they looked young and firm to me.
She's working the hell out of her 70-year-old self, but she's 70.
Black don't crack.
No, she's.
I noticed with Potomac, what's interesting to me is like right now it seems like a theme with the housewives is accusing someone of not having the illness they have, and in Potomac it seems like people are accusing people of not being the race they say they are. That's going to be an upcoming issue.
Yes. I think that.
And I love it because it's like, well, people are the race they are. They have the illness that they have. But on the Housewives, it's everyone's free up for interpretation.
Yeah, you get to decide what people are, which has never been a choice in my life. If someone tells me they're sick or they tell me they are of a certain race, then that is what they are.
But I feel like they were showing a lot more like family trees than I'm used to. Like, I don't remember seeing everyone's lineage.
Yeah, well, and charity work and what they've done. Charity work and balls seem to be a
lot.
Like, you could say that's what I do for a living and that's an acceptable career. Oh. I'm a philanthropist. What does that mean, though? Are you giving the money or are you putting people together to give money, it seems? And I like that there's a woman that is African American and Jewish. I appreciate that as a Jewish,
and she loves a Jewish man.
Yes, though he was
the worst.
Not representing the tribe.
No, I was not. At first, I was like, "Oh, a Jew," because we haven't had one since Jill, and I was excited to get another one.
And Bobby Zarin.
Jill and Bobby are the last Jews.
Stop it right now!
I'm telling you, my people have not been welcome.
That's upsetting.
Bethany's not Jewish?
I don't think so. I think she's like
no. Bethany is Jewish. But I don't think she's like a
she's Jewish by choice.
She's like Italian too. Like there's she's a mixed, I think, a mixed breed. But she like I
know because I am not Jewish, but I love a Jewish man. Obviously married to one, and then when I got a look at.
He's
that
not great.
Wet noodle.
Yeah,
he's like a wet piece of paper.
Yeah, and he's like, I love him, and the way she sort of treats him is a little bit strange. We can get into her a little bit. That's Katie. She's got 3 kids under 3, which I can't quite wrap my head around because she was getting divorced when she was 4 months pregnant, which I need to know what happened there. They didn't tell us what happened in that marriage.
And she's so gorgeous. She's one of the only women that can just roll up and be like, listen, I've got 3 kids under 4. Let's get married. And like have a chance at that. And like have a guy on his hands and knees, like putting a little jacket on a baby.
Yes.
Because that's all her looks.
Yeah, no, she's
gorgeous.
very
and
lovely.
She at
Gorgeous.
24 is a philanthropist. Like I don't even understand what that's like a career for a 60-year-old woman. To be a 24-year-old and be a philanthropist is a little strange to me. I love it. I wish I could be it.
What did everyone make of Robin?
The blonde.
I felt connected to her. I feel that's me.
That's the you of
That's
the group?
me.
Robin
Yeah.
is definitely the Kendra basket.
Robin is living and sharing a bed with her divorced husband.
Who's hot.
Oh, he's very hot, but that is not okay.
Well, that part's not me. Just like the white gal, but who's. Because I felt
Okay,
connected
I'm gonna
to
stop
her.
you right there.
I felt connected to her.
She's not white.
Like a black girl, but I felt like she's who I am.
Yeah. Okay.
Like a similar
Yeah, I can see that.
know what I'm
She
saying?
reminded me of Kendra.
Wilkinson.
Yes.
Yeah.
I called her Kendra Basket seconds ago.
Oh, but the same. Same.
Are they still?
Yeah.
Is she still Mrs. Basket? I don't know. You've been in Mrs. Basket and Mr. Basket's home.
Right before all hell broke loose. I was in their home. And they couldn't have been nicer, especially him. He was like amazing. Honestly, he was the sweetest thing.
Though.
What was that?
He's hiding something. He
Well,
was
yeah.
hiding.
Well, if anyone has time on their hands, please take yourself to a People magazine article. Oh my gosh, Jason, our last guest, and I sent this back and forth to each other hundreds of times. That Kendra and Hank did willingly, like a sit down, like the president and Michelle do like a sit down every year, and it was like a very serious article about like what happened and did he sleep with transvestite, and he's like, it's amazing. Yes, the way he answers is so good. He's like,
Does he get to it?
yeah. Oh, he gets to it. He's like, it was crazy. He's like, I was over at a friend's house and he's like, a woman came out and then she was all over me. I didn't even know what was happening. And then I realized, oh, that's a man. He's like, honest to goodness, I didn't even know. And then he's like, but I wasn't doing anything. And then he's like, but she was on top of me, but we were just friends. It is the wildest. I'm not even describing it.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is makes sense.
Right.
And Kendra was like, I had to believe him when he told me that.
Right.
So good.
Oh boy.
I would like you to send me that article if you still
I'm
have
gonna
it
find it.
in your
Happy they're
drafts.
still together.
In your drafts folder. I would love to.
I tore it out.
But Robin, yeah, there's stuff deep there. When you're living with your ex, did he cheat on her? He cheated on her, and she's sharing a bed with him for her children's sake, right? But I
liked
don't
Robin. She
know.
seemed a little deadened.
Okay.
Behind the eyes
I think
to me.
she has to be to have that living situation. I
Yeah.
think she's been hurt. She was trying on her wedding dress, you guys, and he walked in. That was sad.
I know. It was sad.
I like the dress.
It was beautiful.
very
beautiful dress.
nice.
Lovely.
Very nice.
Quite lovely.
And Karen, the Black Bill Gates. Now, Ray is really giving me vibes of Nene's husband, Greg.
Oh, some real Greg.
Yeah.
Real Greg.
And then I honestly took a note from Karen when she was like, if your man doesn't ask where you're going, like you're in trouble.
I took it.
I was like, oh.
I believe I walked out the door without even saying goodbye to my husband this evening.
I was laughing so hard the other day. I'm sorry I'm doing a side story, but I was laughing so hard the other day. I was feeding our baby and this food fell on my pants.
Okay.
And I go, oh my God, these are my nice pants. And they were sweats. And David was like, those are sweatpants.
But your fancy sweat.
But I said it with like, it was just, I was like, these are my nice pants. So upset.
You need to get
sad.
some slacks.
I need to get a nice pair of slacks.
And then, of course, there is Charisse, who's the coach's wife.
Okay, Charisse, have you guys seen Key and Peele?
Yes.
She reminds me of that character Jordan Peele does, Megan.
Oh, yeah.
Who's always like following around the guy and like following after him.
Yes.
She was wild.
She is wild.
She was a doll,
yeah.
I thought.
She scares me to
She
the
scares
core.
me. The fact that she got mad at people for coming up her stairs and having fun in her house, who had come over to cook her crabs.
After they'd done an Annie Hall type scene with the crabs.
No, it was surreal. It was
She
like,
terrifies me.
She is terrifying.
Oh, I stand corrected.
Yeah, I thought she sort of like cracked the whip on her friends. You don't come up the stairs. Like, it was a real strange thing.
It's basically like, don't bring the help up the stairs.
Yeah.
Which is not, you know, what we're trying to do these days.
Yeah,
you know.
I was seduced by her glossy, lacquered ombre lips.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Beautiful.
the fade. I thought I was mesmerized.
You couldn't see anything but.
Nothing.
They were
but.
beautiful. They were
And I will
beautiful.
say when they flashed forward and she was crying about her husband, I just felt for her. Something's going on.
Something's going on there. And let's also talk about, there was another chair thing, which I can't believe.
I can't believe it.
I mean, that happened on Orange County, and then we parodied it on Hot Wives, but to see it come up again was a gift. That I was like, how are we still fighting over chairs and where we're sitting? It was beautiful and sad and upsetting, and they fought over it and fought
And not
over it.
only that, next week, someone threatens to call the police. Like, it escalates even further than we can conceive of next week.
Believe me, when I got to this nook, I looked over at the center chair. I thought about it. And then I thought better.
You thought better.
You knew the person in the nice sweatpants was going to be
I
sitting
said,
there.
let me wait and see where she goes.
And you waited, and
I waited it out, and here I am, like
Sitting on the side.
Yes. I learned.
But so Potomac gave, and we were ready for its gifts. Thank you, Potomac.
I mean, thank you, Potomac. Truly. I'm excited for next week. Who's going to keep watching?
Oh, me, definitely.
I'm not sure.
What?
Wow.
Deanna.
I know. You know what? It takes me a minute. I always feel resentful when the first episode of like a new Housewives.
Well, because we have 3 seasons that we're juggling. I have a baby.
No.
I'm trying
I was
to get a life
rushing to
together
watch
here.
Atlanta tonight. Rushing.
Yeah, it's just I feel resentful initially, and then I come around. So I'm there right now.
Right.
But it has something.
Wow.
Definitely has something.
The last thing I want to bring up with Potomac is, who was the woman in the lime green romper?
Oh, the one
rushing
who went
around?
up the stairs to tell Charisse that
She was
that
one of
Giselle
those.
had-
She's a Faye Resnick in training.
Yeah.
Just like a friend on the fringes
Yeah.
who's trying to pop in and trying to snipe in. And I think we'll see her, but the producers are like, get her out of here.
Right.
Yeah, she's thirsty. Did I use it
yeah,
correctly?
Sure, you got it right.
Thank you.
She had a
And in
thirst.
upcoming, it seems like we're going to have a 2D part 2.
Wait, what?
Guys, on Potomac, that was a long pause. On Potomac, does anyone know what I'm talking about? On Potomac, it seems there's a new girl coming on that looks
Oh,
exactly
yes,
like
that looks
Tootie.
a little like Tootie. Yes.
Oh, Tootie being
Yes.
Kim.
Kim Fields.
Kim
Kim
Fields.
Fields.
Yes, there's another kind of young girl.
We took the
that's-
long way around, but we got there.
It's funny you should say that because I watched with my hub, the Potomac, and he said Kim Fields would be better off on Potomac than
Yes,
she is.
Wow,
that's more her
interesting.
speed. I do
But that
feel
was
like
a
it's her
very good
speed.
point.
Astute. I would love to see an all-star Housewives, Real Housewives. I'd like to call for that because here's my all-star cast, like they would do with basketball.
Yeah.
I'd love to see Giselle. I'd love to see Erica Jaynes. I'd love to see Ramona. I'd love to see Vicky. I'd love to see Sonia. I'd love to see Phaedra. I'd love to see Nene. I'd love to see Kim Zolciak. I'd love to see the Richards sisters. Get on an island and go.
I would love that. That's my favorite.
And that was just
show.
off the top.
That's just off the top of your head. You hadn't even thought about that.
Well, I mean, gave it a lot of thought.
It's like these are not the things you think before you go to
I've
sleep.
given a lot of thought to it, but I put the team together just then.
I almost want to hear it again.
I feel like there's enough going on. And Bethany, did I say her?
No.
But I think Bethany can traipse in and out.
Right.
I don't need her all the time. I like
Oh.
Bethany, but she has things to do.
Little goes along.
Yeah.
I agree.
Speaking of Bethany, we'll transition now.
To Real Housewives Beverly Hills this week, you
Okay.
guys. It's getting going. We're starting. I mean, yes, they
Yeah.
were back in the Hamptons, which it's again, as Casey mentioned last week, it's not like we're in Belize or like South Africa where
Turks
we
and
had
Caicos.
like those are worth 3 episodes.
Like watching people put like money in the meter. And I will say, we got a very nice shot of Kyle by Eileen. And one thing I did think was the awning feels, as you said, fresh.
Yeah, the light green
That
sort of
Kelly
Hamptons.
green, but then we all concurred it's maybe like a regulation where you have to keep it that color.
It's an ordinance.
And yes,
Yeah,
because
it's
it
the
seems
Hamptons ordinance.
Yeah, it's
too
like you
fresh
can't-
for Kyle.
Yeah, exactly. It's like you can't have car dealerships or use your tacky colors. Right.
Or it's like the McDonald's have shingles on them to look like
exactly.
small town.
We had that in Boca. You couldn't be a regular McDonald's. It had to be like a stucco, sort of like Miami-esque, like pink McDonald's.
Yeah.
It was, and you couldn't have a sign up anywhere. You just had to you knew it was
You
McDonald's,
knew.
but there wasn't a sign to point you in its direction. Too classy
Class.
in Boca. But yeah, Kyle. We start off in Kyle by Eileen too. in the Hamptons with Bethany's book signing.
And right away, I love when Kyle's like, I think it looks perfect, right? And the sales girl just simply shrugs. Like she couldn't give a
I
fuck.
couldn't really give it up for Kyle. Like, there's no one there for her to sort of be yes
Although,
man.
I want to say I fell for Kyle. I warmed to her a lot this
I did
episode.
too. I did too.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I went back and watched like a season or so ago when it all hit the fan with her and her sister, and I really saw the brandification of it. Like Brandy, she really was doing fine with her sister from what I could see. And
There was
Brandy-
problems. There were problems, but Brandy
But they were
amplified
doing so
them.
great in the beginning of the season. If you start again and look, they were having a real lovely time together. And then Brandy just got in there, and I feel like she hurt them.
Yeah. Oh, I agree. I think and Cal said it tonight. She's like, she's not the start of our problems, but she did help ramp it up.
You know what happened with their problems, which I didn't get enough information on, is the house.
Oh, the Palm
What
Springs house.
happened with that Palm Springs house? And I'm going to drop another bomb on you. I'm going to let you drop this bomb about Kathy.
Oh, well, I have been told, and I have no clarification on this.
Yeah, by the way, none of this is fact checked.
This is not fact checked at all, and I
Has it
dropped
been
this tonight.
Googled?
No,
Nope.
not by me.
Okay.
Not by me. And I should have, to drop this fact and not know anything of it, is that Kathy is only their half sister.
Wow.
I don't know this to be true. Someone Google this and get back to us. All right. But that's interesting.
Well,
She
that's-
doesn't look as much like them as they look like them.
She's a broader gal.
Yeah. And she doesn't have their face or their voice. They both have sort of like scratchy voices, and Kathy is like clear as a bell.
Kathy seems quite a bit older. Like there's an age gap.
Yeah. No, yeah. I mean, I think they do look like sisters, but
But for Kyle to not be talking to Kathy
that's
or
a
Kim,
doozy. That's bad. Really bad.
But it seems
Really
like
bad.
those are almost two different stories, because I feel
100%.
like Kathy it's more about the real estate and Mauricio and that stuff.
Really?
I feel like Kathy's wielding Kim's weakness against Kyle because of this real estate.
I could see that. I could see that being true.
Go, Kathy's a monster.
Well, I agree completely. Though I have never seen her outside of the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Like, I didn't watch her reality show that Bethany was on or whatever that was. Did you know Kathy had Martha Stewart had a reality show.
Oh, you
And-
mean Trump's show?
I think Bethany was like a contestant.
On Celebrity Apprentice, right?
No, but even before that, before she was Bethany, before she was a housewife, she was a reality contestant on a show.
And Kathy was
I think
too?
Kathy Hilton was like a judge on it or something. Like it's all the same world. I'm dropping
important.
bombs,
Big
guys,
ones.
tonight.
Wow.
Call me
and
a
half
B-57
sisters.
bomber because I'm dropping bombs.
Wow, you really are. I gotta say, I've turned so hard on Lisa Rinna. I hate her. I think she's
boy.
disgusting. I think she's flattering herself that Kim has fallen off the wagon because of her. It's like, sweetie, you had nothing to do with this. You were annoying, and I'm sure you were annoying to her at some point. But I kind of feel like now you're taking credit for her downfall. You're angry at her, and you want her to know that she has a problem, and now you're upset. And when she's like, I have something I want to say about Kim that I just can't tell Kyle. It's like, you've shared it.
Yeah, you never don't share it.
You don't know this person.
I know. And also
True.
the fact that she's like, I know that, Kyle has her issues with Kim, but I do too. And it's like, your issues mean nothing in the scope of the Kim and Kyle relationship. Trying to insert yourself in. I mean, we all know she's hungry, but this is a little too hungry.
And I feel like Brandy might have stirred the pot a lot. Of course she did, but at least I never thought I'd say this, she was more artful.
And organic. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And she seemed to have a friendship with Kim. Whatever it was, how dysfunctional that
Right.
friendship was, at least it does seem like she, in her own fucked up way, cared for Kim.
Lisa is so bald. She's like, why don't you go ask her if she knows Faye Resnick? It's like,
I
just
know.
like tone it down. You'd be a better actress.
Well,
Right. Well,
that's another story.
That's a horse of a
altogether.
different.
Erica was shining brightly tonight, as
Is
she
she
always does. She's such a
something?
shining star. I love her.
Quiet though she was. That's the sound of my rosé. Being bored. Quiet though she was,
But she needs few words, though. She doesn't need a lot to say a lot. And I respect that because I am not that. It takes me 10 sentences to say one actual word. I feel like I fill air.
I mean, during the entire podcast, I'm like, stop talking to myself. And I know I'm not following that.
No, I am not at all.
The way I feel during her pauses, it fills me with love and anticipation and joy and excitement and thirst and hunger and sexuality. Like
Gives you a real zing.
Gives me everything.
I hang on her every pause. And then she said something like, what did she say tonight about like Lisa Vanderpump? She said something really articulate tonight. I think you might have written it down. I didn't.
What did she say?
But just something about like how Lisa Vanderpump stirs the pot and how she can't apologize and telling Eileen not to give her that power.
Right.
I thought was very articulate and very wise. And I don't think it's been said by anybody ever on any of the Real Housewives series. Like no one has been as articulate about like power dynamics and what you give to people than Erica Jaynes was in that moment.
And that poor thing trying to get something off Lisa. Like don't try,
Twice. Didn't she learn her lesson last week? She keeps coming for her.
You really hate Eileen.
I just can't. Maybe because I see myself in her, guys. I don't know.
Yeah.
You know, it's like we hate in others what we see in ourselves, and I wonder if
That's why I hate Lisa.
Vanderpump? Oh, Renna.
I wonder if I am somewhere alone in a shoulder-bearing, ill-fitted top with no bra.
She was wearing, it seemed, a strapless with the shoulders off that shirt.
Who could care?
And at dinner, during what she felt, I could feel like she was getting ready. And I know it's absolutely a tragic situation, but she had those tears at the ready.
And that story at the ready. And that was a terrible story, but she's been waiting since last season to tell it.
It was so sad. She's like, I really had that story, and then things happen, and here it is. And I was like,
it's like these newbies they just can't get in and flow.
And I feel like then they cut to Kyle, just kind of like, that's terrible.
And then they cut to Ken eating his corn. This is such a weird cutaway.
I want to say bravo to the editors for at that moment. It was almost like they edited it all wrong, but then they were later like, let's leave it, because it was so amazing to just cut to Ken, that fucking idiot. Why is Ken there? I've never seen
anybody say anything
Why
about
doesn't
it.
he
Get
go
the
off
fuck
with his mates? Just get away.
He doesn't add a thing.
chomping on corn while someone's talking about an abusive
He
relationship.
didn't stop eating that entire scene. Like they were off to dessert onto dessert wine. Ken was still chewing away on
Kyle's
something.
like, oh man, guys, let's get vulnerable. He's like, eat this corn, and then later she's crying, and I see him just like shoveling that food in his fat maw.
Remember how angry Ramona used to get when what's her face? Alex brought that husband
Simon.
around. I mean, what would Ramona do with this Ken coming
She would
around?
tell her.
We
Tell her.
We
Get
need
him
some
outta here.
Ramona saying like, Ken, what are you doing here? This is for ladies. Get the fuck out. Like I need someone shouting at him to the way that she used to shout at Aviva's husband. Like, get out. Why are you here?
She hated the husbands.
And then there was Catherine Edwards. Breezing in a cobalt blue power suit from the 80s. I loved it. First, I thought an elder is among us, but then I got to look at her, and she's quite young and vivacious looking.
She goes back and forth.
Yeah.
Yeah,
She's
different
one of
angles,
those.
different ages.
Yeah.
The testimonials weren't kind.
Right.
No.
Right.
But the dinner and the angle is beautiful, and her modeling shots were. She looked like such an 80s supermodel.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
a Carol Alt.
Yes, although I'm going to stop you right there, but the photos she looked absolutely gorgeous, but the quality of the modeling shots were like strange. It was like a knee like tucked up to her chin.
I think that used to be big a while ago. Like if you know what
The
I
knee
mean,
and the
like
chin.
everything was a little bit more catalog-y and not high fashion back in the 80s.
I liked her.
Oh yeah, me too.
She's the kind of woman who scares me. I don't know that I could relate to her, but I'm happy she's with us on the show. I felt she brought something. She brought something to the table.
Love that Lisa Rinna, the first thing when I see you, I think OJ.
Oh my God,
That was
an
the phrase
entrance.
she used. She said, "It's flashing."
Yeah, it's flashing on me.
It's flashing on me. What? By the way, using that for the rest of my life. Like things are going to be flashing on me for the rest of my life.
And the look on her face, the shock.
to bring up because she was.
And then Kyle, see, that's where Kyle gets really fucking bitchy, I gotta say, because I'll never forget. I had warmed to Kyle during this episode, but when Kyle and Kim hid Brandy's crutches, let's go back.
We saw them at their meanest. They're little like
those little Richard sisters. They thought they were, escaping from those mountains, and they were really something.
Yeah, I saw the mean streak in both of them.
Right.
And when she
I saw
brought
it tonight with Faye.
Yeah. When she brought up Faye Resnick's name.
She's like, she was awfully defensive. It's like, yeah.
Because you brought up a woman that wrote a book about you.
And then insinuated it possibly caused a murder.
Yeah.
So she's sensitive to it.
She's like, oh, really? You've never met Faye? And she's like, no, I've never met her.
And the truth is she hasn't.
And she handled it beautifully.
Oh, yeah.
Like
classic.
a dream.
It'll come out next week. I think next week she starts to fly off the handle with good reason.
I'm learning through this Nook time with you guys that Rinna, I'm realizing now, saying the OJ thing, it's like she is working so hard to give the producers what they want.
Yeah.
And it's so gross. Like, I'm getting so skeeved by
too.
her and her dirty
work.
And
she thinks she's working for us and giving us something to talk about in this podcast and give us something, but that's not how these shows work. And that's why she's always a little, she's like 20 feet from stardom, that documentary.
It has to be more organic.
Yeah.
And she doesn't come at it from an organic place. The whatever it is coming out of her doesn't feel natural. It feels, as we pointed out last week, a little sweaty.
This is something I said to Casey, and I don't know if it's comfortable, but the earrings that Harry gave her were parting gifts, the diamonds, and I hate to say it,
Deanna feels Harry's not long for
his
this.
bags are packed.
Really?
Yeah, 100%.
I feel like they're a good couple.
I know you do. I know you do. I know everybody does.
And I also like her hair, so who knows what I know.
Deanna, you want to share what you said to Danielle during the show?
I don't something along the lines of like,
I see where you're heading.
I feel like we need to move past. Like, this is just, you can't like her hair. I get why you like it, because you're like, it's spunky.
Yeah,
I
fun.
understand. Funky, it's fun.
Yeah.
But it's like,
Young? No.
it's like, how hard she's working for these producers is how hard that hairstyle. It's working so hard, and please don't go down that road.
I won't tomorrow.
Okay.
But I can't promise you in 10 years I won't be like, I need to feel fun and I need to feel young and I'm going to get Elisa Rinna do.
Well, and you
hope I
also
don't.
said that she's really working hard with those daughters.
Yes, I feel as if she's trying to make them into the new Bella and the new Gigi. There's a lot of, on her Instagram, a lot of like black and white modeling shots, how gorgeous they are. And I'm just like, oh, no. Let's not do this to your daughters. They seem pretty normal, pretty okay. Let's just
Let them be.
Keep them out of the spotlight. What are we doing here? That's how I felt.
I agree. I mean, Eileen,
Dusty,
and Vince. I couldn't make heads or tails of what Lisa was trying to say to her, but it seems like I don't want to go to Italy with them next week.
No, I don't either.
Can we ask them to cut that before next week?
Can we make a request?
Can we?
And look,
team?
I understand it's an emotional trip, but it's one I think should be done in private.
Yeah.
It's a private trip.
Now, you pointed out Kyle looking gorgeous in those glasses, sitting on the floor of her weights room.
Loved her like that. I like her casual.
I think she looked like Demi Moore. Her skin looked so beautiful.
Great. Those glasses helped her. She had her shoulders totally covered.
Why was Eileen wearing that? And I know you liked it. That Sandra D hair.
I thought it was cute on her.
I didn't love it.
Eileen has a layer of dust on her entire...
It's all those tchotchkes in her house. They collect
dust. It lands on her every week. I want to blow it away. But... it's always
she's
there.
always like, they cut to her and she's like, it's hot in here. Is it menopause? It's like, Eileen.
No, she can't get it together. And I think she needs to be wearing a bolder lip. She's a beautiful woman.
Gorgeous.
Beautiful woman.
Gorgeous.
No doubt about that. She is aging terrific. She's going to be beautiful forever. But she
really
just needs
is.
to work it.
Well, we were all taken aback when it was a little moment where she's standing in those crazy ass glasses. Or no, I guess those were Camille's glasses, but in my head I put them on Eileen. But she's standing there with Erica Jaynes and she just goes, "Did you have fun in the Hamptons?" And everyone's like, ah. And Erica just turns around like shocked and just doesn't even answer her.
We got some Yolanda this week too, a little bit on the plane, both of them in their white.
Who is Paige?
Oh yeah, who was that woman on the plane?
Unclear.
Guys, one more quick break. Guys, I mean, we're at time. We have one more final topic tonight. And this is a special bonus issue. And I want everyone to know it's absolutely related to the Housewives. But this is something that Deanna and I have spent a lot of time on.
Clock some hours.
We've clocked a lot of hours on, I'm just going to set this up, an email that Deanna Chang wrote to Danielle Schneider, who's here, that Danielle does not remember.
No, not because I don't know what it is yet. If I hear it, maybe I'll remember it.
Exactly. So this is a surprise segment for Danielle. And Deanna and I felt, Deanna's very nervous, felt that this was the most appropriate forum to just iron this miscommunication out.
I'm so scared. Should I pass these dittos out or should I talk about it
I think
first?
you should talk about it.
Okay.
So set it up.
You have an incredible show that you've created called
Hot Wives.
That's the name.
Yes.
Hot Wives.
Hot Wives.
Right. So Paul Scheer is producer on that. And I said, you know what, Paul? I have an idea for a character that I might want to be on that. And he said, you know what? Hit up Danielle. And I said, okay. Now, here's the thing. It was the day where it launched, and it was like all the buzz was everywhere. Thank you, God. Thank you, baby Jesus. Thank you. Thank you that was the day I sent it, because it was lost amongst thousands of emails that came to you because it was a brilliant show and it was all happening. I praise God for that. Okay. Because what this email is, I have labeled it Anatomy of a Pitch Gone Awry. It is.
Well, let me stop you right there.
shocking.
So you wanted to pitch a character for a show that did not yet have a second season?
Exactly.
Okay.
Did not yet have a second
Because we had
season.
done, and I was on the show, one season of Hot Wives.
Yes.
And at that point, I don't think we knew a second season.
We got renewed after, I think, a little bit after.
So I like your chutzpah and your moxie.
Well.
Okay.
So here's the email. I have some arrows and some, graphics around it. Just to break it down, Casey, please help me out.
I got it.
I'm actually really nervous to do this.
Okay, so Deanna calls me after she sends this email, and you had asked me, should I send Danielle an email? I'm like, of course. I'm like, Danielle's the nicest person.
And at that point, Danielle, before you look, hold on. Let me talk to you for a second.
Okay.
We are closer now than when this was sent on July 14th, 2014. So at 1:56 p.m. So here's the thing. It's like right now it would be different.
Okay.
But at that time we were not, we didn't know each other as well.
And you were feeling like, I'm a little nervous. I don't want to, it's tough to reach out to someone and say, essentially, like, I'd like to be a part of the creative venture that you're putting forth. And it's not every day you simply ask to be a part of it.
Like, boldly.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and you know when you send an email and about 10 minutes later you go, let me take a look at what I sent.
Yes.
And here's
my eyes did bug right open to see what I sent. Case, do me a favor. Read the subject line.
Okay, the subject line is
top right corner.
Bold on a Monday.
That's the subject line.
On a Monday.
Okay.
Let's just...
I'd love to start with the opening salutation, which is Morning Danielle.
Not my name.
Not your name.
No. Not only is Danielle not your name, you are named Danielle.
You're my sex.
I'll now refer you to the timestamp.
Yeah, do the timestamp.
Morning Danielle sent at 1:56 p.m.
You had just awoken in the mid-afternoon.
It's not just afternoon, it's late after. I mean, it's mid to late.
It's midday, and Deanna writes Morning Danielle.
Oh my God, to see that 1:56, my heart just started. Okay. Then you get the opening sentence. I'm sure all comedy bees in LA are hitting you up. So I'ma just follow suit.
No,
Smiley face.
It genuinely says, I'm sure all comedy bees in LA are hitting you up, so I'ma just follow suit. Now, Deanna has written on here wild sentence alert.
Yeah, I have some sort of...
Just notes she's written after the fact.
Oh my God, what the fuck?
Continue.
Okay. And then I say, Hot Housewives pitch. Not the name of the show, guys. No. Simply not. It's just not
called Hot Wives.
It's not the name.
But a mistake that a lot of people have made. So
but when you're trying to it's like
when you're begging for a job,
it's not your name. It's not your sex. It's not your show.
No one's like I love Breaking Weird. I'd love to be on Breaking Weird.
So I say Hot housewives pitch. I love a crack at playing a white woman who thinks she's black, has black children, and has black baby daddies and speaks in jive.
This is very racist.
It's not. Well, you know,
guess it's not-
Kim Zolciak.
Yes,
is like
yeah,
the
yeah,
idea.
yeah, I get it.
That's who I'm thinking.
Yes.
You know,
Right.
Zolciak, yes.
and then congratulations on getting such hot buzz, which is like fine. Like
I don't think this email's so bad.
okay, well,
Did I write back?
I'm going to Instagram this, what Deanna has printed out, which is the email, and then kind of alerting all of the weirdness
all
of it.
the worst things on it.
You're very kind, Danielle. And this is a dear friend, Deanna, you know.
thank
But
you
when
so
you put it in context, it just, and you're trying to get a job essentially from someone you don't really know that well. It's not great.
It's really quite horrible.
I do remember this time was a little crazy.
Thank God. Thank
Because
God for me.
there were a lot of like, the show was launching, so we were getting like press reports.
Were a
and,
lot of
like,
people pitching new characters at that juncture?
For shows that new seasons
remember,
that don't
I don't
exist.
think so. Like, but there were just there was like, and I'm not like, I'm good at like getting back to people usually,
Does
but that
this
was.
ring a bell?
I
Just
mean,
say honest to
I'm
God.
trying to
Honest
think
to
so.
God.
It's not ringing a bell for me right now.
you
But
think-
see, that's good,
It's
Deanna.
great.
It's great.
Praise.
Because a lot of
not-
times, like they say, like when you audition, you know, if they don't remember you, but you don't get the part, that's good. Because you
mean-
kind of fade into the babackground. What you don't want is
Right.
to not get the part and they remember you. Because then you did something crazy.
Right.
What did I write back at the time?
You didn't.
I didn't.
And this is the good news.
Okay.
Because I think you were like, oh, Daniel's not me. Delete. You know, like that's for someone else.
I think I do remember because this is literally the launch date of the show.
Exactly.
So I do remember
my
at
God, I'm, like,
that
sweating.
time. Oh, at that time I was like not just getting emails from family and stuff, but just like press and you got to
Yes.
do this radio show and you're going to do this and this. So I was
And you were busy.
and I was working on Marry Me at the time. So it was
All
like a
wonderful,
crazy,
wonderful
She had to
things
write
for
stuff
me.
for my ass.
Yeah.
But you know, I think because you were nervous that you hadn't written back because of the just
So many
simple.
wrong things. So, how do you write back to that? It's
You
hard.
don't.
It's
I
actually
apologize
hard.
for not writing back because
Danielle,
that's not within my nature.
God bless you.
It's not you.
To not
know
write
that,
back.
You know that this is like the best news that you. First of all, the fact that we can have this moment because I've went to therapy.
Oh,
No, I'm teasing. I just went to Casey and I went to Matt.
Because we had to close a loop. We just had to like wrap it up to just.
Morning D, which we call it like Matt McConkey, one of your former guests. We'll call it Morning D, which is just like heading down the wrong road, you know, like strongly.
And to just be like, morning, D. Listen, I need a job on that whatever show it is. To just write morning, Danielle at 2 p.m.
At 2 p.m.
But know that two things to
Okay.
wrap it up in your mind. A is that this happened to be a time, and at the time I had like an 8-month-old too.
Sure.
So it was.
I love her.
a
God bless her for even
crazy
explaining a
time
thing.
in my life where, because I really am good about getting back on
Of
emails. I
course you
try
are.
because I know that I don't like when an email's unanswered. I
you're
start to
wonderful.
Second guess, and so I try. So it was a crazy time. And B, if I'd gotten this email, I would have I would have been like, okay, well, here's a friend. You know, even though we weren't as close at the time, here's a friend pitching me something. Like, I don't know what I have.
And
in
you
mind
could
for the
understand
season.
Danielle.
Yeah, like I wouldn't
To
have.
hot housewives.
It wouldn't have rocked me.
Hitting you up, so
It
I'ma
really
just
would have
follow
just been-
suit.
I think the email I would have written back was, okay, I'll think about all this and like get back to you and
Digest
you.
it.
digest it. But you know, like we had already kind of the characters in our mind for the second
course, you-
season.
yeah,
so,
of
like,
course.
Look,
you
Danielle,
did.
say no more.
I mean, Danielle,
All
for
I'll
you,
say
this
is that.
just, I hope you enjoy this. This is
I'm
Please
not.
just enjoy. Don't. It's not for.
No.
There's nothing. This is on me. This is not on you. This is on me.
And I'll wrap in saying you were on Hot Wives season 2.
spoiler alert.
Spoiler
You are on
alert.
Hot
I
Wives.
was on Hot Wives.
And if there's a spin-off of that show,
Look, I didn't want to bring it up here.
Okay, I think we've talked enough,
It's a
guys.
spin-off.
Yes.
We got to the bottom of something very important
I'm
so
today.
glad you brought it.
Potomac, Kyle by Eileen 2, The Health Advocate, Beverly Hills, and Morning Danielle.
And half sister.
yes.
Half sis.
Half sis, Kathy.
So, and Francois, so much, guys. Deanna Chang, you're an amazing guest.
Thank you.
Oh my God,
You're
guys.
a bright light in this world, and you're absolutely hysterical.
Yes.
Thank you for
Listen to
this.
her podcast, everybody,
OMFG.
on Earwolf. Wolf Pop. Sorry, on Wolf Pop.
Same.
Guys,
Thank you, guys.
Thank
This
you
was
so
the
much for
blast of a
listening.
lifetime.
And we appreciate all feedback, only if it's kind.
Thanks,
Bye.
guys.
This has been an Earwolf production, executive produced by Scott Ackerman, Adam Sachs, and Chris Bannon. For more information and content, visit earwolf.com.